science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public, everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
Cockatoos with attitude. Cockatude.
Hi, and welcome to Cockatude. Cockatoos with Attitude. Episode 20. Making toys. Parrots need enrichment. Don't let their enrichment send you to the poorhouse. See? What are you doing? I'm supposed to be talking. Well, I am. Well, come here if you want to come here. So back when we started the sanctuary, we started getting some birds in. By the time we had 6 birds, we were spending $300 a month on toys. Well, that gets a little tough. You know, you're talking about $4,000 a year on toys. So I decided to look into what it would cost to make them ourselves. So I did a rough figure, little rough figuring, and came up with it would be a $30 toy would cost us about $10 to make. Well, I was way off. I hadn't figured on certain things like the chain lasts almost forever. The links last a year, 6 months to a year. These things will last a year sometimes, sometimes less, depending. Bob likes to make fun things out of them. But, so when it was all said and done, I figured out, worked it out, the amount of cost for making a $30 toy, if you're doing it fairly regularly, as in you're reusing parts, actual cost is about 65 cents a toy. So where we were spending $300 a month, we ended up spending about, being fancy, about $20 a month to make toys. Nice flight. Good flight, Chloe. Well done. I think you're out of the camera now, though. I think you're kind of out of the camera up there. So, even if you only have 1 or 2 birds, you think about the amount of cost for the tooling up. You got to have a drill press. You got to have. I recommend that you have a regular bench saw. So you can. I recommend that you have a regular straight saw so that you can cut 2x4s into 2x2s, because 2x2s are kind of expensive. 2x4s are cheap. So. And that, to the issue of whether or not the wood is safe, well, the nose knows. I get our wood from Home Depot, and I can smell those 2x4s, and if they don't have a strong chemical odor, that's fine. And the reason I say that, you'll see that a lot of toys online, you'll see them, doesn't matter what the manufacturer is, they'll say that they're bird safe. I have yet, and if somebody can find this and show it to me, I'd like to see it. I have yet to see one that says wood that's untreated. They're guaranteeing you that they're going to give you untreated wood. I think that pretty much the people in the Philippines and places like that are making these toys, I have extreme doubts that we're getting wood that isn't treated. Now, it may be true on things like yucca. There are some types of wood that may be untreated, but for the most part, if you're talking pine, I think it's been treated with something. So we go for the best we can get, and at least we know that it doesn't have a heavy odor. And it does help, too, to ask at Home Depot. If you say you're looking for something that has less chemicals in it, they'll point you in the right direction. If you look at the price of the 2x4, they're incredibly cheap. So if you take them, you can take a 2x4, cut it down into 2x2s, which is what this is, drill a hole through it, and basically, you know, run a chain up through the hole and put stuff on it. You know, you can put this kind of stuff on it. You can see here. You can put sisal twine on it like that. You can buy that stuff pretty inexpensive. And then you can just tie it around, you know, string the wood. I'll show you how to do this. But basically, when you string the whole thing together, you can have a rather large toy. You can even take one like this and drill 2 extra holes in it, and then run a chain down through the center here, and 2 chains down the other way, and make a toy that has, you know, 2 stringers down, or 3 or 4, however you want to do it. So you can make some pretty big toys. I think the biggest one I made had 4 stringers on it, and it was 18 inches long, so if you tried to buy something like that, it would be $40, $45, something like that. And I think I made it for 3. So because you're examining the wood yourself, you have a fair idea that you have wood that's relatively clean as you're going to get anyway. And then you can shape it into different shapes. You can make triangles, you can make rectangles, you can make polygons. Triangles aren't too hard, and I'll be going out to our workshop and cutting some of these things so that you can see what it's like. But basically, cutting a triangle is just cutting a 45-degree angle on a piece of wood, flipping it over, and cutting a 45-degree angle the other way. And you just keep going back and forth like that, one cut after another. What have I got back there? Oh, hi, Cause. So, we got a large group in here today, too. The one, we don't have Lorelei, we don't have Coco. I had Coco out, and she sat there for a little while like it wasn't a problem. Then she looked over at the cameras, and that was it. As soon as she saw those cameras, she was done. So, she just started her honking, which she won't stop. Now, if I had the opportunity, I could have held her in my arms, and if I kept her head under my chin, she would have been quiet. But hard to make toys and do that. But we got everybody here. We got Roman, we got Babaloo, we got Cause. These 2 right here get into it. Cause doesn't bother Bob anymore, but Bob bothers Cause. We have Cecil up there, and Snowball, and Chloe, who's decided she wants to walk on the top of the window. And Salamander, and Sugar, and over here in the Suicide Watch cage is Simone. I wanted to bring her in here. Oh, and Peach is hiding over there. I wanted to bring her in, and so I put this little cage in here so that she can come in and be with us. The problem she's having right now is mate territoriality. She wants to mate with Cecil. And regardless of whether he's in the room, she will attack Bob. She doesn't really hurt him, but he gets scared, so he's to the point now where he'll strike back. And I don't want her to, you know, kill herself by attacking him. She'll also attack Salamander. Now Salamander weighs, he's over 2 pounds. And Bob, he's pretty much up there. He's about 1.33 pounds. So she's just a little thing at 420 grams. And yet she goes after birds that are over twice her weight, and one that's almost 3 times her weight. And they're good. I mean, they don't want to hurt her. It's just that she's so aggressive when she's trying to push them away. They've got nowhere to go. In the wild, they'd fly away. But here, there's nowhere to go. So anyway, that's the crew we got here today. What you up to, Cecil? Go ahead, take a piece of wood if you want. You guys can pretty much mess with me today. There's not much I can do. It's not very hard to cut the wood up, and I'll be splicing in a section showing, you know, basically how we do all that. I cut all the wood first with no birds out there, and then when it comes to the point where I'm going to be drilling, then I can have, I usually will bring out birds that can't fly, so I bring out Peach, and I'll bring out Sugar, and sometimes Rome, and they'll sit right by the door underneath the carport while I drill the wood, and we'll chat, and you know, they'll have a chance to be outside. And it gives some of them a little bit of time outside, doesn't it, Roman bird? Yeah. So let's get on to making a few toys.
If you are enjoying our videos, we hope that you can find it in your heart to support our work. It costs between $25,000 to $30,000 a year to care for our flock of heartbroken and abused birds. Most of our birds came with feather destructive disorder. Even a basic exam with blood work costs $300. Medical emergencies cost us thousands a year. We are a non-profit, and donations are tax deductible to the full extent of the law. We need your support. Birds deserve a happy and healthy life. Become our patron at www.patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary to support us on a per video basis, or donate at our webpage today.
You gonna let me do that, Rowan? Can I make a few toys? Here, I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab it. It might scare you. Don't let it scare you. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Bob, no. Snowball, you okay? Cecil, come here, Cecil. Come on. Come on, guys. It's all right. Come on. I know, I got this. Roman, why don't you get up here so I can do this? You okay up there? All right. Come here. None of that. None of that. Whoa. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna make a few toys, okay? Yep. Oh, Rome, you can get up here. You need to move. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Come here. Right there. You okay? Okay. So let's make a few toys here. Grab some wood. Some of this wood I have from when I was coloring it. Oh, now leave her alone up there. Be nice to her, okay? Be nice to her, sweetheart. I love you. I love you too, Roman Bird. So, as I learned from a plumber years ago when I thought that was going to be my trade, you get a firm grip with a pair of pliers like this, and then you're going to get a pair of pliers going the opposite direction, and you can pull that ring apart. Now, this won't come apart yet, and the reason for that is that these birds are awfully intelligent. And they will also teach each other things. So, there's a little tiny split ring here. A wee little tiny split ring. What that does is it makes it so that if they take the... He's not hurting you, Sugar. Sugar. Sugar, it's all right. It's all right. Sugar, it's okay. That's just a snowbird. He's not going to hurt you. He's not. I'll leave that at the bottom because there's no reason to redo that. Now at the bottom there's a ring, a large ring, and a little tiny ring. And what the little ring does is if they pop this off, which is fairly easy, everything doesn't all fall off the chain and end up in their cage. And Coco was the master of that. Coco was the master at ripping these things apart in just a minute after you put them in there. And then the other birds started doing it. So from here, it's pretty easy. Just put a piece of wood on the chain. Get a spacer of some kind in there. And use a couple of spacers. Hey, you guys. Sugar, it's all right. He's not hurting you. Sugar. Now, I have other things that I can put on here. I'm going to try to move this not too quickly because I don't want to scare the heck out of them. I moved things around in here too, so that hasn't made it any better for them. Hey now, Sugar! Sugar bird! Sugar! Sugar!
We hope you will consider supporting us on Patreon today. This is how it works. We produce up to 2 videos a month. As a patron, you pledge to give us a donation, whatever you feel is right and meets your budget. And Patreon gives us your gift monthly. You can easily set a limit on how much you donate a month. You can change the amount of your pledge at any time. Your gift will allow us to continue bringing you entertaining and informative videos. Some of our planned videos are home exams, how to do a home exam quickly, efficiently, and properly. Early detection saves lives. A new paradigm, what it means to be a parrot owner. An interview with Dr. Jeffrey Jenkins of the Avian and Exotic Animal Hospital. Who is training whom? Behavior training and how to empower your bird to make good choices in our world. As a patron, you can also choose to be in the producer's circle, the director's circle, or the advisor's circle. Each donation level has benefits. You can find out about these on our Patreon page at patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary. We look forward to your participation in Cockatude.
It's okay. It's all right. He's all right. He won't hurt you. It's okay. It's okay. And usually if you put a couple of spacers and put something like that in there, throw another piece of wood on, set something like that on another piece, and then place something on top of it, and then you've got something that spins. So, pretty easy. Ice sugar, it's all right. And that's about fine for a starter, and you'll see what we do with it. Now, if I was doing it the way I should, the easiest way to do this, and I didn't do it, is I made this little tray, and I have this on this end so that you can catch the whole piece and lay it down if you wish. You can keep your rings and things up here. Hey, you two, Sugar. He's not going to hurt you, Shug. Be nice, Sugar. Come on, Shug. Sugar. Be nice. Be nice. Sugar, come on, sweetheart. Hey. So you just pull the ring back in place. You pull it just a little farther than where you want it to sit, and it'll spring back. So then you end up with a piece like this. But you want to put other things on it, so you can string a little bit of leather, and then I've got these little pacifiers. They have a tiny hole. You're never going to get the chain through there, but you can put them on like that with leather. You can dangle anything you want there, though. It doesn't really matter. You can put a little piece like this. And I've got some cotton from some cotton rope. I'm just going to take that, put it like that. So you just kind of look around and say, well, what have I got lying around after you've been doing these for a long time? It's a nice piece of leather that I could use. And yes, I am vegan, but for them, I will, hey now, calm down. Sugar, Sugar, calm down, baby. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. It's a good girl. But regardless of the fact that I'm vegan, it's something that they can play with, and it's my exception. I don't... No, Sugar, calm down. I'm letting her do this because she normally doesn't let anyone up there do it. Hey, Sugar. Sugar bird. Sugar. Hello. Sugar. Hi. Sugar. She's not looking at me now. Sugar. Okay, I'm going to... Sugar. Calm down. Sugar. Sugar. That's a good girl. Now you be calm. What I did there was I actually applied a negative by shaking the perch a little bit while I was talking to get her attention, because she's so focused on wanting to get Snowball out of there. And there's a toy. Now, you know, most people might say, well, it doesn't look all that great. Believe me, after a day, it'll look a lot worse than this. But actually, they kind of like those things. So that's one toy. Then I'll dig through and find another one that needs to be torn apart. And I'm good at this, by the way. I already lost one of the pliers. That's why I brought an extra set of pliers. I knew I would set one down and then I would lose it. Oh, you think so, Peaches? Hello. Peaches, I've got a tangle here. I've got two chains tangled together. Can you take them apart for me? Okay, so now we have large ring, smaller ring. And we're going to figure out what we're going to put on the bottom. Well, you know, sometimes just try to find a small bead. There's a smaller bead. So take a small bead. A piece like that. Any old bead will do. Flat bead will help to hold it in place. Now I'll throw a piece of wood on it. Kind of starts looking like a toy. Come on now, calm down, baby girl. He's not going to hurt you, sweetheart. Sugar, calm down, sweetheart. Hello, Peaches. Sugar, Sugar. Okay, we're going to add that little shake. Sugar, Sugar. Behave. Come on. Now, it's a good time to talk about some of the things that aren't so good. This bell is okay. And the reason I say this bell is okay is because there's no way they're getting there. Once they pull the clapper out, which I don't care how well it's attached, the clapper's coming out. There'll be a loop inside, okay, that the clapper hangs from. And that little loop, if they can reach it, they can get the pointy end of their beak in there, and then you've got a bird walking around with a bell stuck on their beak. And if they freak out, they can hurt themselves pretty badly. So if you do use bells, you either need to use the long tubular type. They have some that are long tubular types. Get up! No, Cecil. No. No, get down. Sit over here. Go on. He starts eating the wood up there. The next thing you'll know, he'll be eating the window. And we haven't had anybody do that yet. So this bell is okay because the clapper is so far down, when it finally gets pulled out, the beak won't get caught in there. And the long tubular metal ones, they can't get their beak caught in there. So that's the good thing. Okay? It's all right. It's all right. You just have to do that once in a while, Chloe, just to liven things up. Are you trying to liven it up for us? Because if you are, you're doing a good job of it. So you can put combinations of things in here. I'm throwing a bead in. The bead will tend to make it so this can be spun around, and then throw a piece of wood on top of that. Now I'm sure there are plenty more people who are more creative and artistic than I am out there, and you can come up with better things than I'm coming up with, but if they play with them, it doesn't matter, I suppose. Most of this is, these, by the way, these little bagels, they're awfully expensive, so I don't buy them very often, but they don't last very long. Peach is right there. She could peel one of these down in less than 20 minutes. She could do it in 5 if she was really interested in it. Cecil, yeah, you wouldn't even want to give Cecil one of those because it wouldn't be there very long. So that'd be more interesting wood in here than this. Let's see. Oh, right over here. A pair of needle nose or scissors or something like that. Just something to ream these out, because when you drill, sometimes the openings aren't good enough to be able to drop a chain through. A large bead can usually get a big piece of wood right after it. If you want to do all kinds of variations of things, besides just these basic toys that are staples around here, there's a free book called the Parrot Enrichment and Activity book, and it'll be linked to in our show notes. So you can download that, you can print it. You're not allowed to sell them for a profit. It is okay if you were to print up and they cost you $4 to print or whatever. You could charge the $4 that it cost you to print. They say that's okay, but it's a great book, and so again, once you've got this together, you just start stringing things on it. Trying to make things that are, don't do it, Cecil. Don't do it. Don't go over there. Don't do it. Don't go there. Cecil. It's good. I'm glad she's letting him sit there, even though she's yelling at him. This is a first for her to allow another bird to sit that close without totally freaking out. Buying things online, buying parts online. You want to look for bird toy parts, bulk. You can do that on Amazon, but the problem with Amazon is, so you'll know what the size of the bead is. They'll tell you the outside diameter, but they don't tell you what the hole size is. How are you going to put chain through there, or leather, or Cecil twine like this? How are you going to put it through there if you don't know if it fits? Don't do it, Cecil. Cecil, no. Thank you. That'll last about 20 seconds to a minute, and then he'll start trying to climb up on the windowsill again. So, when you're buying things online, the first thing to look at is how long have they been in business? And if it looks like they've been in business a long time, you got a better shot. What's the variety that they have to offer? And is it a real variety? So, if they show what their inventory levels are, fine. I emailed one, California Bird Toys, and because I didn't see any stock levels, and they had this, looked like a huge line of things that they have. That always throws me off, because if it looks like they have a ton of stuff, but they don't tell you how many there are. I've been in situations before when I tried to order things that they told you they were out of everything. Well, what they say is that if it's out of stock, they don't show it on the web. It just drops out, so you don't see the picture of it anymore. So I haven't used them, and the ones that we're going to have up there on our show notes, I haven't used. I use a wholesaler, and obviously you're not going to be able to use a wholesaler, so although I do like that California Bird Toys, they got a huge selection, a lot of variety, and these guys could use some new variety, couldn't you? You could. So, for that reason, I love you too, sweetheart. I might try them. But you want to know that they actually have the items, not just pictures of something that if you order it, they'll order it and they might have it in 2 weeks and ship it to you. You want them to have the stuff on hand. Also, you want to find out if they're willing to tell you if they're out of stock on things, so that I could get it elsewhere. It has happened to me before where I ordered food. I now order food from a different source, but I asked them to tell me if they didn't have something. I ordered a lot of different items from them wholesale, and a week and a half, coming all the way from the other coast, a week and a half later, here's my order, no food in it. So fortunately, having Amazon Prime, I was able to pay an extra $10 and have it for the food and have it shipped here. So whether they actually have items is important. Another thing is you don't want to buy it from any place that has birds. If I made toys, like I do here, and you like them, that's great. We have 12 birds here. They've all been tested. But you don't want to buy toys from any place that has birds. You also don't want to buy toys, I love you too, from any source that lets you return toys. If they'll let you send a toy back, you don't want to buy from them. And that means that that toy might have been exposed to a bird. That bird might have a circovirus or something else. And these viruses last a long time. These are harder to make when you make them on twine, but this is how I make them for sugar. And the reason being, she is a master, absolute master at getting herself caught in things, catching her toenails in anything, any chain that's any wider than that. A large bird can get their nails caught in. If you had a smaller bird, if you've got a conure or something like that, then you want to go smaller than 2 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter, something smaller. But the point is, you don't want her nails to get caught in there. And she'll do it if there's any way. So for her, I will make her toys this way. And that protects her from killing herself. I'm going to set this to the side so I can get down in here and grab some things. So when you're buying toys online, you're going to do a lot better to buy bulk if you look at the bulk pricing. Unless you're planning on only keeping your bird for a month or two, the bulk pricing is going to be what you want. Cecil, you're not supposed to be up there. Cecil. Cecil. Hey, Cecil. You're just ignoring me, aren't you? Now I'm going to go with large beads the whole way, or anything that's easy I can push it through. He's being good, but I gotta watch him, because he'll start chewing on things up there we don't want him to chew on. Need a large bead, not little ones. Silly. Cecil, what are you doing? Not exactly scissors, but works pretty close to as well. Okay. When you're putting, you see the way it's wound. This is wound around like this. So if you put it through the hole and twist it the opposite way so that it stays together, you can get it through the wood. This is, I wouldn't do this for birds unless I had a bird that was trying to kill herself with toys, and that would be Sugar. Not looking too bad. What you doing on the floor, Roman bird? What you doing, sweetie? How come you're on the floor? Now you're gonna bite my feet. I know you. No, no, no. I know. I didn't do anything to him. He just... All right, sweetheart. He just has a terrible sense of balance. And if you pick him up, he loses it. I love you. Chloe, it's all right, baby girl. I love you. Roman, I love you. He's a good boy. That's a good boy. He has a terrible sense of balance, don't you, sweetheart? Okay, let's take a look at the various things. I'm watching him. I'm taking air conditioner breaks here too, so I'm watching him because he keeps trying to climb up there and get on the windowsill, and before long he'll be eating the window, and I don't want him to do that. And he's got it in his head, that's what he's gonna do. Don't you, Cecil? Yeah, as soon as my eyes are off you, you just take off up there, don't you? Okay, different kinds of things you can get. These little plastic discs come in many different shapes. And they're in colors. And they're nice little spacers. I usually put a bead on one side and a bead on the other of them. These are cool. Cecil's great. He'll go through and break off each one of these all the way around. Sorry, Roman. This is your basic manila twine. This stuff is, as you can see, they've been eating it. You can break it apart and use each strand individually, or on the bigger birds, you can use all three, or you can use... Now, hanging them in the cage, we use these. These are the best. The little ones that are teardrop shaped, those don't last very long. These big birds destroy them pretty fast. Probably work for a conure, not working for an umbrella or bigger. These right here work fine for that kind of thing. They do have some that are... Are you sure, Peaches? Are you sure, Peaches? They have some that are spring-loaded. I'm not too fond of the spring-loaded, except where... Peaches, you can come over here, but it's getting crowded. You're not going up there. Sit over here. I'll get this tool out of the way. So they have some of these that are spring-loaded. I use them for Cecil because Cecil can open one of these very easily. And it's not that the other birds can't, it's just that he will. And since he will open them, my best bet is to use the spring-loaded ones. So once he opens it, it still won't come off. He hasn't taken one off yet, but I wouldn't put it past him. So, and these come in a lot of different sizes. You're not going over there. These come in a lot of different sizes. The big ones I use to do things like lock doors open on a cage. In Chloe's room, they have... Chloe, what are you doing up there? Just going to sit up there? All right. Now, see, that worked out up there. I just kept telling her to leave him alone, and eventually they found different sides of the perch, and there's no problem. And this is good because she hasn't gotten along with any other birds except for Cecil like that. So you get the basic idea of how to make a toy. This toy right here doesn't have any chain on it, so that saves about another 40 cents. That is if you consider that chain's going to last you a year. You're not saving much. Because you may pay 40 cents for an 18-inch chain that you hang things on, but over time, using it over and over again 100 times, you're paying less than a penny for it. Another important point is that you'll see toys online, like I saw a little hanging basket that looked cute, and it had a chain that went up like this and back down to the little basket. You don't want that, and I'll tell you why. Fortunately, whenever I have a new toy like that, I watch the birds pretty closely, and Snowball got up in it, got his neck around it, and then detached it from the cage and was plopped to the floor and was running around with this basket around his neck. So that was a long time ago, but I don't have anything that loops around that they can get their neck through. Not that they couldn't easily pull it out, but if they panic, which is what Snowball did, if they panic, then they could hurt themselves. I used to dye the wood, and I stopped doing it for a number of reasons. For one thing, they'll take the wood and throw it into their water, and they seem to like the fact that they can color their water red or green, and I'm using all vegetable dyes, but still, I don't see the point. It doesn't seem to matter to them whether or not you're using plain wood or you're coloring it. It's also a lot of extra work, although I do think it's a good idea to get 90% alcohol, which you can get at Walmart, isopropyl alcohol, and soak them in it for a couple of minutes. In a couple of days, the alcohol completely gone, and so is any mold that may be in the wood. And also, if there's chemicals in it, the alcohol may leach some of that out. But I think the main thing is to make sure that there's no mold in the wood. Safe. A toy must be free of entanglements. It should not have any ingestible small parts. So little tiny beads, that kind of thing, I don't give them, although it's unlikely a bird's going to swallow that. I still think it's a good idea. If you take something like this, I'll show you quickly how to do this. I'm going to grab just a single piece of wood. Cut it. And you tighten it down as best you can with your hands, and then pull the bead up against the knot. Make it good and tight. And there's a foot toy. Cecil will show you how to use one. This is how you play with the foot toy. And you may have, he's going to cut all the balls off that piece really fast. You may have birds that you give foot toys and they ignore them. Keep trying. And then try to play with them. dangle it in front of them, get their attention with it. He just wanted that, he took it off. Did you like that? That's the part of the toy you wanted. That's the part of the toy that Cecil wanted. That's the part of the toy that Cecil wanted. Cecil wanted that part. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Are you showing him how to use that foot toy? Just take that one piece off and play with it? Is that what you're showing him? Okay. So now we're going to go to showing you the shop and how to cut things up and how to make your wood into these kind of pieces. We'll make some triangles, we'll make some squares, we'll make all kinds of fun stuff. So that's where we're heading.
You can go ahead and buy 2x2s, but they're about double the price of just cutting them yourself. So take your table saw and cut them, and you'll save some money. At the end of the cut, it's important to always use a pusher. Don't push it through with your fingers.
What's nice about the mitered saw like this is that you can cut, first of all, you can cut just regular pieces. So normally you'd have a longer piece of wood and you'd have to use this. And this right here, keep the wood stable. You just bring it up to the same height as the wood and you can have a nice 8-footer out there. But you can make little pieces just for them to chew around the house. You want one that has the laser sight like that. So you know just exactly what size piece you're cutting. This makes just little chew around the house pieces. You don't have to drill them, anything, just chew around the house. Now, I'll show you how to make a triangle. This is really easy, okay? What you do is you're just going to loosen this knob, which lets this piece move. Press this little lever down and slide it over to 45. So once you get it to the 45, lock it down. And then, you see where the laser is shooting? Okay, so now a full-size triangle. And you can use 1x instead of 2x4s, or you can strip it down the middle on your big saw if you have a large enough blade. And then you can make them half this thickness. Now you just drill a hole in them, and you're set. Now for different shapes, here's a different shape. That makes kind of a polygon. So you got triangles, polygons. If you buy 1x4s or 1x3s, they're probably better. 1x3 is a better size. You can make everything from a small square. Now, I bet you can make a longer piece and drill multiple holes in it. But the average size I use for these is like that. That's your average size piece of wood right there. And you can do odd angles on this too. You can do 45s and all that neat stuff. You can see how quickly that goes. It doesn't take much time to have a nice pile of wood. And one thing you want to do when you buy 2x4s is smell them. They shouldn't have a real chemical smell to them. They're going to smell mostly like wood. There may be a slight odor, but you don't want that kind of stinky lacquer smell. That's something you want to avoid. When you're cutting a piece, you want to keep your hands as far away from the blade as possible, and you want keep your hands away from the blade. There's a couple of people that, now what I do is just push it off the edge like that so that you don't ever get close to the blade. And that's all it is to making that. Now we'll go on to drilling. This drill press came from Harbor Freight, and with all the discounts and everything that I got, the 20% coupon, the thing on sale, I got this for 50 bucks, okay? What you're looking at here is a vise that goes on to a bench press. If you do it without a vise, what's going to happen is, even though it's just a drill, it's going to catch the wood, and at some point it's going to spin you around. Now you might get your finger caught on that drill. I've not heard of anybody getting seriously injured on the drill press, but it could happen. So just basically I loosen up these until I find the center, and then I lock it down. There is a hole in the middle of this. As you can see here, there's a hole, and if you get too far to one side or the other, what's going to happen is you're going to hit your drill against the metal, and that'll eventually kill your drill, so you don't want to do that. So once you get it lined up, you're going to just go like this. And you want to come up in a couple of times, depending on how strong your drill press is. You want to get the wood shavings out, so you're going to go down and back up and down, back up. Otherwise, you may find your drill getting stuck in there. And if your drill gets stuck in it, then you got to bang it off gently with something. I guess the light hammer. Probably better to use something like a rubber mallet. Put another piece of wood in there. If you do all the ones of the same shape first, then you don't have to keep resetting your hole, which is much easier if you have this. If you have it attached properly with wing nuts and that kind of thing, you can slide everything around a lot easier. I have to use these clamps, so that doesn't work out too well for me. So that gives you an idea how you're going to drill holes.
And thank you for watching Cockatude 20, making toys. Parrots need enrichment. Don't let that enrichment send you to the poorhouse. Right, Cecil? Cecil, you want to say goodbye to the folks? Cecil, say goodbye to the folks. Cecil Bird. Yeah. Cecil Bird. Cecil Bird. Cecil Bird. Cecil Bird. We get to turn the air conditioner on now. Yay, air conditioner.
We welcome your feedback on our videos. We look forward to your insights, tips, questions, stories, and pictures. You can email us at cockatude@chloesanctuary.org, reach us on Twitter @Chloe Sanctuary, and join with us on our Facebook Chloe Sanctuary page.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.